morning, everybody. Good morning, dear viewers, for this amazing show. For good morning, everybody. It is amazing. It is a good morning, and welcome to Farmers Media, where we connect, learn, and grow. Make sure that you're still tuning in. We are live on Facebook at Farmers Media. We are live on YouTube at Farmers Media. This is a Farmers where we connect, learn, and grow. And today, being on Thursday, I know most of you are still looking forward to the weekend. But before I even talk about that, our topic for today is livestock grazing. And we are going to talk about subtopics such as sustainable pasture management, and we are going also to delve deeper into the types of livestock grazing system. Now, before we delve into our topic of today, I would like to tell you about what is currently happening in the agricultural world. But we've received, according to the research that I did today, there has been happenings that have been happening, including in Kenya. We find that in Thika, Kiambu County, there were 2 people who have died, who have been reported dead, and 8 hospitalized after eating ugali they picked from a dam site in Thika, Kiambu County. So these are killed a lot of people. First of all, why would you pick something that you don't know? You haven't checked the expiry date. But if you see that something is damned, then why will you eat that? But sometimes we must understand that other people suffer out of anger. They don't have anything to eat. But that doesn't mean that you should eat something that's unhealthy, something that will risk your life, something that will ensure that you are dead. So we are told that 7 are currently admitted in Thika Level V Hospital, and 1 hospitalized in an individual critical condition. So it is very sad to see that people are dying out of food poisoning, and it is something that it is not really a good thing. So most of them arrived at the hospital unconscious and having breathing difficulties. We also find that there was this one mother who said that she fed the porridge to her small kid, and when she went back, she found that the kid was unconscious, like she was not in a good state. So she had to give the kid some water to make her vomit that porridge. But the kid, and then rushed the kid to the hospital. But after she reached the hospital, the kid did not survive. She died. That is so sad, because food security is another major concern, another major issue that has affected people all over the country, that is still affecting people from different places, including places where there is lack of food, places where people are unable to get enough food. So this is a result of people lacking the necessary needs for them to survive. They tend to go to those kind of dump sites and collect food stuff that are not even healthy for their bodies. So food security is another concern that is still happening, and investigation is still going on what really happened to those people about that ugali and what it contained, what kind of poison it contained, to an extent that it made sure that 7 people were hospitalized and 2 died, and another one is still in a critical condition. So it is very saddening. It's an event that is encouraging people to still continue practicing agriculture. I always link that to agricultural world, because as farmers, we are always thinking about agriculture. We are always taking the steps toward producing more food and more sustainable food that will last us for generation, both globally and internationally. So again, welcome again. Thank you so much, guys. I'd like to thank you for continuing viewing this channel, and I hope that you will send in your comments as we go through the topic of the day and also the subtopics. And if you feel that I haven't understood this kind of point, then you are free to send your comments on Facebook or on YouTube, and then ask questions so that we'll be able to answer. And if we can't answer, and if I can't answer, then maybe one day we'll invite an expert that will be able to help you go through these questions and help you understand even much better. Back to the topic of the day, we are still live on Facebook at Farmers Media, on YouTube at Farmers Media, and make sure you click on our website at www.farmersmedia.com. So back to the topic of the day, that is livestock grazing. So, sustainable pasture management involves the careful stewardship of grazing lands to ensure the ecological health and productivity and resilience over time. And this approach is rooted in the understanding that well-managed pastures can provide multiple benefits, not only for livestock but also for the environment. If you ensure that your pastures are always well managed, they are not attacked by pests and diseases, you are putting the correct amount of fertilizers in your pasture while they are growing in the field, then you'll have a sustainable pasture. It will sustain your animals for the longest time possible, and also it will be healthy for your animals. The moment you are taking care of this pasture, you are applying the right amount of fertilizers, the nutrients, you have dried them well and stored them in a cool, dry place and feed them to your animals when they need them. So this will enable you to provide a sustainable pastures for your livestock. It will enable your livestock to not succumb due to anger issues or health issues. So it will be a very good thing for you as a farmer to ensure that the health of your animal is your top priority. So I'm going to define sustainable farm pasture. Sustainable pasture management refers to the practices and strategies used to ensure that pastures remain productive and healthy over the long term. So after ensuring that your pasture is sustainable and can last for over a long time, then you should always have an aim. And the aim of this can be to maximize the efficiency of nutrients and water use. You see, if you use the water correctly, you maximize the nutrients, then your plants are likely to grow well. Your pasture is likely to have enough nutrients that will enable your animals to grow healthy. And then another aim is to minimize the occurrence of pests and diseases. Taking care of your pasture in a way that it is not risked, it is not exposed to pests and diseases, by providing good chemicals, like not chemicals really, herbicides or pesticides that are very useful. The ones that are killing pests instantly. The one that will help your pasture to continue surviving or lasting even longer without getting spoiled. And then to prevent soil erosion and compaction. Sometimes you will choose to grow pasture that has deep-rooted roots to prevent soil erosion, because these roots hold the soil together in a way that even if it rains, there is no soil that will get carried away by the runoff water. So it also helps in minimizing soil erosion. And then to enhance the biological diversity of the pasture ecosystem and provide high quality forage for livestock. So by ensuring that your pasture is done in a way that it is sustainable. The importance of sustainable pasture management in livestock farming cannot be overstated. Healthy pastures translate to healthier livestock. Of course, if you are providing healthier pasture for your animals are going to grow healthy. They are going to consume a lot of nutrients that will enable them to continue with bodybuilding and even more production of milk, production of meat. And also it will reduce feed costs and less environmental impacts. Of course, after you ensure that your pasture is healthy, it is sustainable, then you won't have to buy pasture each and every time. You won't have to ensure that your animals are eating much of the pasture, because the pasture is available. You have planted them in large quantities, so the cost will be less because it will be sustainable. You use this pasture and over until it is depleted. And then it also causes less environmental impacts due to the amount of fertilizers you apply and nutrients you put into your soil. So you ensure that you are putting the right quantities of, be it pesticides, fertilizers, to avoid environmental pollution. So the role of grazing in maintaining healthy pastures and ecosystem. Grazing when done right plays an essential role in the health of pastures and ecosystem. It can promote grass regrowth. So grazing stimulates grasses to regrow, which can enhance the overall productivity of the pasture. We were talking yesterday about the Boma Road hay and with the expert who was known as Monica Talai, and she was telling us that when growing this kind of hay, she used to feed the hay to the cows when they failed to avoid the hay from overgrowing. So through this promoting grass regrowth, you can ensure that your grass are not overgrown, because when they overgrow, then it will be very hard and also very hard for livestock to digest and to eat them. So at some point you might require to feed your cows, to feed those grass to your cows, but don't allow them to overgraze, because it can also cause soil erosion and also result to the plants from not continuing with the growth. So when you allow your animals into the farm and they eat the grass, maybe the upper grass, and then they leave the roots of the grass, you see, because when you slash them or you dig the grass out, they won't be able to, the pasture out, they won't be able to grow again, because you have already dug the roots out. But when you allow your animals to feed on them, the animals don't feed on the roots, they only cut the stems of the plants and when they feed. So when they feed on these stems of the plant, the roots that is remaining in the ground will be able to regrow again. So the role of sustainable pasture grazing is also to promote the regrowth of grass. And then it controls weeds. Proper grazing can help control undesirable plants and weeds, reducing the need for chemical intervention. So if you are allowing your animals to graze properly in your field, of course they will graze onto anything that is there, be it the weeds, be it the grass, because there are other animals are feeding on the weeds. There are other type of weeds that can be fed by the animals. So this kind of weed might not be lucky enough to survive in that field if you allow your cows to eat grass present in that field. So they will deplete everything, including the weeds. So this also helps in controlling the weeds, and then it enhances soil health. Livestock hooves can help in breaking up the soil crust, allowing water to penetrate deeper, and their manure also returns essential nutrients to the soil. You know, as animal moves, it does excrete different types of things. It is let's say the animal can urinate in the field, it can excrete the dung. So let's say for example cows, when you leave your cows to graze in the field, cows are not like human beings. They can't go outside the farm and remove their waste outside the farm. They don't have brains, of course, like to do something like that. So cows are just animals, and when they are in the field, they excrete they excrete there. So the dung and the urine from those kind of animals can be used as nutrients in the soil, because it is a type of organic fertilizer. Because when these cow dung is in the field, it can be utilized by plants as source of nutrients. And again, the hooks. Cows, I'm just giving an example of cows. Cows have the hooks, that part that is on their legs, the hard part. When they step on something, when they step on the soil, they are providing they are breaking up the soil crust. You know, there are other soil particles that are large. They are compatible in a way that it requires a farmer to break them into small pieces to allow water to penetrate into the plants, into the ground for the plants, and also to allow soil aeration. So through the animals getting into the farm, they are breaking the soil particles, the soil crust, and also allow the water to penetrate deeper. So it is also essential for that kind of things. And then we have boost biodiversity. Different grazing strategies can encourage a more diverse range of plant species which in turn supports diverse animal and insect life. So, however, it is worth noting that overgrazing or inappropriate grazing can lead to numerous problems like soil erosion, reduced pasture productivity, and loss of biodiversity. So it is also good that you are grazing your animals in the most appropriate way, in the most appropriate manner, because you might be very careless enough to not overlook what are the animals really doing in your field. You tend to ignore that animals can overgraze. They can do something else that is harmful to the soil or harmful to your plants in general. You see, so let's say for example the animal overgrazed in your farm. Of course, there will be soil erosion happening in your farm. The soil might even end up losing fertility because they have already fed on everything. They have stepped on all the biodiversity living organisms that are in that soil. So they can also reduce pasture productivity, and because grazing is crucial. Grazing strategy is very crucial for sustainable pasture management. If this happens, if it happens that you have overgrazed your animals in that field, your field is likely to be of more like it won't be that productive as much, because due to overgrazing, the plant will take, first of all, the plant will take a while to grow, and again, it will lose its fertility very fast because it is now the nitrogen is depleted because it is already into the air, because there are no plants that can fix the nitrogen into that type of soil. And again, the soil erosion can happen because it has been the land is bare. There are no plants there anymore due to the overgrazing. So it's very crucial to ensure that the strategy you are using for grazing your animal is a strategy that can help you in general, that can help your farm grow and not succumb. And then there are different types of livestock grazing systems, and different grazing systems have been developed over time to address various environmental, economical, and management goals. And let's look at some of the common types or the common types characteristics. So, continuous grazing versus rotational grazing. So that is one type of livestock grazing system. So there are of course cons and pros of continuous grazing, and also there are pros and cons of rotational grazing. So let's start with continuous grazing. Livestock have unrestricted access to a pasture area for an extended period. So continuous grazing, this is whereby you allow your animals into your farm like continuously. Today you allow them to feed onto your farm, and then the next day you do the same, then the other day you do the same. So that's continuous grazing. That is continuous grazing. And one of the pros of continuous grazing is simplicity in management, as there is no need to move livestock regularly. You know, it's very simple. If you allow that, if you decide that I'm going to feed my livestock in this piece of land every day, then it will minimize a lot of your time. Like it will minimize the time you will use to graze your animals. So there is no need to move your livestock regularly, and then it's lower initial infrastructure costs since fewer fences and water sources are needed. Of course, if it is only one piece of land, then they won't need a lot of fences for you to fence the animals to prevent them from getting into the other farms. You won't need a lot of water because the water that is currently available in that piece of land is enough for your animal. But of course, there are cons, and one of them is uneven grazing can lead to overgrazing in some areas and undergrazing in others. Because you find that animals love grazing together. You find that they are all moving to one side of the farm. So when they move to this one side of the farm, they tend to graze on everything that is available in that piece of land, leaving their other parts. Or one of the animals goes grazing in different parts of that particular farm. So this can lead to uneven grazing and grazing in others, because if some of the animals, majority of animals go to one part of the field to graze in one side of the field, and fewer animals go to their other part of the field or to the rest of the field, there won't be uneven, like it would be uneven, of course, because the fewer animals under grazing, and the animals that are, no, the fewer animals under grazing, and the other animals, the more animals that are in the other side of the farm are overgrazing, because they are continuously eating on one place and depleting everything that is in that place, leading to soil erosion. So, and I was just talking about soil erosion because compaction also. You see the hooks from those kind of animals. Let's say cows. Cows have very large hooks, and when they step into the ground, they compact the soil. So they can be able to compact the soil one side of the field, but they will never ensure that there is even compaction of soil in different fields. So your farm will be uneven in various ways. One part is compacted, another part is not compacted. Some soil are compacted, others are not compacted. So it will be very difficult for you, a farmer, to determine, where am I going to start my farming activities? Am I going to start with the compacting of soil in this part of the area? But after you've finished compacting soil in an area that you have identified that the soil is not compacted, the soil has not been broken into small pieces. So you realize that the other part is not also it's compacted. The soil is compacted in other parts. So it will be very difficult for you to identify areas that the soil needs to be broken down. And again, it can lead to a decline in pasture biodiversity and increased weed prevalence. Because the moment the cows are eating these kinds of weeds, of course they can't cut they are not eating until with the roots, they are just eating the stem. So the root remains in the ground, and it's very easy for such weeds to grow even more faster, because they have reached the flowering stage and the animals have destroyed it, and it can pick it from where it left and continue growing even faster. Now let's go to rotational grazing. In rotational grazing, animals are moved between different pasture sections or paddocks, let's say paddocks, or on a regular basis. So animals are put in paddocks. These paddocks, it is fenced in square positions. Let's say square, and then it is maybe a farmer decides she has to divide her farm in 4 pieces. So when he divides it in 4 pieces, she's going to start feeding let's name the paddocks A, B, C, and D. So she will start by grazing the cows in paddock A, and then after she sees that the cows are fed there and it is almost depleted, and she sees that there is a chance of overgrazing, because before that happens, the farmer moves the cows to paddock B, and then paddock C, and then paddock D. So rotational grazing. By the time the cows are in paddock D, paddock A, the pasture has already grown and it has matured. So when they go back to paddock, after paddock D, they go back to paddock A. So that continues and continues. So it's a continuous process. So one of the pros of rotational grazing is allows grass in rested paddocks time to recover, which can enhance forage yield. You see, this will be a very good idea. I like rotational grazing because it is something. It takes time, yes, because the moment you start feeding your cows in one piece of land and then rotating them, it is a good idea, first of all, because after a short period of time, the grass have already grown in paddock A. By the time your cows are in paddock D, then you will have enough grass. The grass have picked from where they left, and they are now good for the cows to feed on. So it allows grass in rested paddock to recover, and then it can improve soil health and reduce erosion. Of course, by ensuring that your cows are not overgrazing in one field, in one paddock, then there won't be any soil erosion, because you are trying to preserve your soil. You are trying to ensure that there is nothing that is depleted in that type of field. So you ensure that your cows are not they are not feeding on exclusively everything in that field. So they only feed on what they need, and after some time, when they are satisfied, You just take your cows, you won't return your cows to the same piece of land. You will take them to another piece of land. So through that, it will allow the growth of grass. It gives the grass time to grow. And again, it promotes better manure distribution across the pasture. As I said earlier, the cows moves from one paddock to another, and when they move, of course, they excrete, and these excretion products such as dung and their urine, it can be used as fertilizers in that type of field, and through that they are able to spread this kind of nutrients from one field to another, because the more they move from this field to another, then they are leaving some products on that field. So when they leave the cow dung in that field, it is very easier for grass to pick up and continue maturing because they still have nutrients. They are providing that organic fertilizer to that field. And then when they move to the next and the next and the next, maybe goats or chicken, both, they are all producing something that can act as fertilizers in those kind of fields. And then it often leads to better pasture utilization and can reduce weed presence. Through rotational grazing, a farmer can utilize the pasture even much better compared to how he or she can do while using continuous grazing. First of all, because in continuous grazing, everything is depleted in that farm. May it be in 2 days or 3 days, everything is gone. Or let's say in 1 week or 2 or a month, everything is gone in that farm. It's depleted completely. But in rotational grazing, it gives time, like in each paddock, it ensures that that paddock gets quality time to mature enough to grow again before you feed the cows to them again. So even the cows are getting fresh grass from this because they are not going over and over again to the same piece of land for maybe a year. They are still grazing that same piece of land. So through this rotational grazing, the cows are able to get fresh things. They are able to eat fresh pasture each and every time they are being rotated. And again, there are of course cons, and one of them is requires more management attention and labor to move animals and set up paddocks. Because cows are very, let's say cows, goats, sheep, they are animals that are very hard to control. Of course, there is always that one cow which is very, how can I say it? Like ni kichwa ngumu. Ni kichwa ngumu in a way that you just get irritated by it. Every time you try to move it from this place, it goes to the same place. So you might find that the cows or the goats are able to destroy the paddocks and move to the next paddock without the farmer noticing. So it requires your attention. You have to be very attentive all the time. You have to ensure that the cows are not doing anything foolish. They are not destroying the paddocks. They are not overstepping. So it requires attention, and again it requires labor. For you to build those kind of paddocks, you have to have enough labor because you have to construct the fences in a way that the animals are not going to overstep and move to the next paddock. So you have to be keen about that. You have to offer all your attention in that particular piece of land, and also you have to ensure that you have provided enough labor in a way that the cows are not going to undergo, like they won't be able to overstep. Another one is initial setup can be costlier due to the need for additional fencing and water points. Of course, when you have 4 paddocks, let's say you have decided that through rotational grazing, you are going to put water in paddock A, B, C, and D. So when you tell me that you are going to put water in each point, then it will be costly for you, first of all, because animals require water and they consume a lot of water. So after they deplete water from this one place, they go to the next. So it needs a very critical attention, because let's say you have decided to put a borehole in paddock A. You will have to put another borehole in paddock B and paddock C and paddock D, because you can't tell me that the cows are going to drink water in paddock A and move again to paddock B. That is impossible, because when they drink water in paddock A, go to paddock B, and then after they graze in paddock B, they go back to paddock A to drink water. Then that will be impossible, because they will continue feeding on what is in paddock A, and with that it can deplete everything that is growing in that region. So it will be very hard for a farmer to control animals like that. So this is another tricky situation about rotational grazing. You have to place water points in each and every paddock, may it be paddock A, B, and C, and D, so that when the cows move from paddock A and to paddock B, they still have a water point there. They still can feed there and drink their water, same as paddock C and D. So through that, it will be easier for cows to move from one paddock to another, and also to be easier for a farmer to control their cows. But again, it is very costly for you to construct water points in those paddocks, in those 4 paddocks. You will have to use a lot of money. That means you lose a lot also on your side, but maybe you will gain something out of these cows or by taking care of these cows. So it will require a water point, and also a setup is very costly. You have to buy the wires to fence the paddocks. And the wires must be strong. They are not just wires, just plain wires. Plain wires, the cows can overstep through those plain wires and go to the next paddock without you noticing. So it requires a lot of money for you to construct rotational grazing. So let's go to high intensity, short duration grazing and its benefits. It involves grazing a large number of livestock on a small area of pasture for a short period. Like you decide that in this piece of land, it is small, yes, but I'm going to graze my animals in this area, even if it is small. So when you decide to graze your animals in that area, if it is small, you ensure that they are grazing over a short period of time to ensure that they are not eating everything in that farm, to ensure that there is no soil erosion cost. So you have to feed them over a short period of time, and then you move them. So one of the pasture, so after you feed them, after this, the pasture is given a long recovery period. After you ensure that you have fed enough, and you now allow your animals to move to the next step, so that you can allow your field to recover again over a long period of time. So benefits, one of them is soil health. The short grazing period followed by a long rest period can improve soil structure and fertility. So when you allow your soil to regrow again, you allow the grass to regrow again. First of all, you are ensuring that there is fertility in your soil. The plants are not overstaying in that field, neither are the animals. So the fertility of your soil will still remain, and also it can improve the structure of your soil, since the animals are stepping on compacted particles and break them into small pieces. Through that, your soil has air spaces that are enabling aeration. The oxygen is getting into the soil, and then they are also allowing the water to penetrate into the soil to the roots of the plants. And then we have the forage quality. It can encourage the growth of desirable forage species and discourage weeds. So the quality of forage that is growing in that field can also be good, because first of all, the animals, what the animals excrete is improving the soil in general. So the amount of the forage that will grow in that particular field will be very nice. It will be a good quality, so it will be also be beneficial for you as a farmer. And then increase production. Pastures can become more productive over time due to better grass regeneration. So the first grass might be very bad. They might grow in a way that it is funny, it is not producing quality grass. But the moment the animals are feeding on those grass, they are eating the upper part and leaving the roots on the soil. The roots regrow. When they regrow with a more better quality. They grow into even greener pastures. So through that, it's also another advantage. And then we have water efficiency. Improved soil structure means better water retention, leading to more efficient use of rainfall or irrigation. So I was talking earlier about the hooks of the animals. When they step on this kind of soils, they are forming holes where the water is being stored. Like when it rains, let's say when it rains on when you are watering your plants, you find the water is in these holes. So through that, the plants can consume water slowly by slowly without drying up because they are getting enough water. And also through these animals stepping on this soil, they are making the soil even more loose in a way that the water is able to penetrate into the soil without much struggle. And through these holes they are making, they are able to conserve water since the water will be able to go to the plant slowly by slowly. And when it rains, the farmer will have an option of conserving water instead of consuming providing the water to the plants because the plants already have enough water. So it will be very advantageous for a farmer. And then and also biodiversity. By periodically resting pastures, a wider range of plant species can thrive, promoting biodiversity. So by ensuring that your field is resting, it is getting enough time to continue raising these organisms, the organisms that are present in the soil that causes decomposition for organic matter to ensure that organic fertilizers to ensure that nutrients are provided to the soil. So through the leaving this field for some time, it is a sure bet that the organisms that are living in that soil will continue increasing because there is nothing that is disturbing it. They are living in the soil without any disturbance, and through that, the soil will maintain its nutrients. It is worth noting that while each grazing system has its advantages, the best choice often depends on the specific goals of the land manager, the type of livestock being grazed, and the characteristic of the land itself. So you have also to consider what type of land do I own, what type of soil do I plant my plants in, like what are the characteristic of my land, and then what are the livestock I'm going to continue raising in this field. Now let's go to rotational grazing techniques. It includes cell grazing. So first of all, rotational grazing involves dividing larger parcels into smaller sections and moving livestock among these sections to allow for rest and regrowth periods. As I said earlier, you move the animals from one paddock to another. I give an example of paddock A, B, C, and D. So you move the animal from paddock A to B to C to D and then back to paddock A. So two popular techniques with rotational grazing are cell grazing and strip grazing. So in rotational grazing, they practice cell grazing and strip grazing, and I'm going to delve deeper on what cell grazing and strip grazing are. So cell grazing, also known as time control grazing, involve dividing the pasture into multiple small paddocks or cells. So, as I said earlier, that is a type of cell grazing of maybe using A, B, C, and D, paddock A, B, C, and D. Livestock are moved between the cells based on forage used and recovery rather than a set time schedule. So, according to how the grass are growing that particular field, the farmer will be able to identify that after this period of time, I'm going to move my animal to the next paddock. So, through cell grazing, the animals are bound in one place. It's just like a cell, like where you are not allowed to go anywhere until a certain period of time. So the animals are given water there and also pasture there, and after they feed on that type of pasture, and the farmer identifies that after this period of time the pasture will be depleted and they are going to grow after this period of time. So the farmer now moves the animals from this paddock to the next cell, and then each paddock is grazed for a short duration and then given a long rest period. So you allow your cows to graze a little bit and then you remove them and take them to another cell. Through that, you allow your plants to grow again by giving them a long period of time. Benefits. One of the benefits is optimal forage utilization. It allows for better control of grazing pressure, leading to optimal use of valuable forage. Another one is improved soil health. Regular movement of livestock prevents overgrazing, which can help maintain soil health and structure. As I said earlier, you are not allowed to make your animals overgraze in that piece of land, because you will lose a lot while doing that. You will be affected by soil erosion. Your plants won't have that ability to hold themselves beneath the wind blows, because the soil is loose. It has been affected by soil erosion. The upper soil has been swept away, hence your plants are lacking enough nutrients and enough biodiversity organisms that are in the soil. So it will be very difficult for you as a farmer. And then there is weed control. Regular movement and varied rest periods can suppress weed growth and encourage desired forage species. So you can control weed by regular movement, because when animals enter in one part of the weed, as I said earlier when we were talking about weeds last week, I was telling you that weeds take a long time. There are other weeds that take a long period of time to grow. So this kind of weeds, when fed by the animals, it will be difficult for them to recover. By the time they want to recover, the animals are back to that cell when the plants are fully grown. So they will feed on it again and then go to another cell. So it will be very difficult for that weed to continue grow. So it encourages weed control. And then it enhances biodiversity. The varied rest periods can support a diverse range of plant species. So you will be able to plant different kind of plant species, or different kind of plant species will be able to grow in that piece of land. Before we go to strip grazing, make sure that you are still watching us. We are live on YouTube at Farmers Media, on Facebook at Farmers Media, and click on our website at www.farmersmedia.com. Again, this is the Farmers Media, where we connect and learn and grow. But before I even continue with strip grazing, I would like to take a cup of water and I'll be back to talk about strip grazing. Stay tuned, don't leave.
To have healthy cows that produce well, you need to feed them with enough energy from fodder crops, proteins from supplements like dairy meal and legume plants such as caliandra, along with minerals, vitamins and water. For a healthy cow weighing 380 kilograms, it will need to eat 1 bale of hay a day, which is the same as 20 kilograms of fresh fodder. If you are growing your own fodder, you'll need about 1 acre per year to feed 1 cow, 1 heifer and a calf. Good fodder grasses include disease-resistant Napier grass, bracharia and panicum grasses. If you don't have enough land to feed your cows, then you'll need to buy extra fodder from other places. Remember to always have clean water available to your cows. If you want your cows to produce plenty of good milk, make sure they are always well fed.
Welcome back to the mid-morning show, my fellow farmers. We are still talking about the livestock grazing and sustainable pasture management and types of livestock grazing system. This is the Farmers Media, where you connect and grow. Continue watching us. We are live on YouTube at Farmers Media, on Facebook at Farmers Media, on our website at www.farmersmedia.com. Make sure you're following us on our social media accounts. Make sure that you're subscribing on our YouTube channel. Make sure that you're going to that link. Click it. Read more about Farmers Media, because you will learn a lot. And again, this is the mid-morning show, the one and only show that takes us to the deep understanding of what really fuels our farms. So welcome back, viewer. Stay tuned. Send in your questions, any concerns, and if you feel that you haven't understood anything at some point, then feel free to ask the question. And if I don't understand either, maybe you can invite an expert so that he or she will be able to come here and help you understand even better, because this is the place where we learn. This is the place where we are trying to ensure that farmers outside there are getting necessary information for them to continue with farming activities. And by that, we are also sharing stories of successes of farmers outside there. And by that, we're encouraging farmers to continue with farming activities. We are giving them motivation and hope of continuing with farming activities. Now back to the business of the day. We were talking about grazing, and I was just finishing talking about the rotational grazing, where you move animals from one paddock to the next. Now we are going to strip grazing. Strip grazing involves livestock, offering livestock a narrow strip of fresh pasture while blocking off the already grazed areas. So this is whereby you select a specific piece of land where the pasture is still green and very fresh, and you ensure that your animals are feeding in that spot. And as the animal finish their available forage in one strip, they are moved to the next. So they are usually the people who practice strip grazing usually use electric fences, because to create and move the strips. So when they use the electric fences, they are able to move the strips when the animals are done in one specific area. So this is whereby after you select a piece of land, a strip of land, where it is green and the forage is very healthy and contains every kind of nutrients, you feed your animals to that piece of land. And after you feel that they have grazed enough, then you take them to the next strip. Mostly people prefer the use of electric fences because it is very easier for them to move the livestock from one strip to another. So there are benefits of this, and one of them is for efficient forage use, because the livestock are given a limited area. They consume forage more uniformly, reducing wastage. So when you give them one specific area, you ensure that they are in this one strip. Of course, this strip is very thin. It is, and through that, animals are moving uniformly. They are able to graze uniformly. So if you provide them a strip, then you'll be able to ensure that there is no overgrazing happening and the animals are not overeating on that piece of strip. And then there is flexibility. The width of the strip can be adjusted based on forage availability and livestock feed. Imagine when you have livestock and you find that the strip is not fitting well, then you'll be able to adjust. If you feel that this strip, the animals won't be able to get satisfied after feeding in this strip of land, so you have an option of extending it each and every time, or anytime you feel like extending it before feeding the animal. So it is very flexible. And then reduce trampling. As livestock focus on the limited available strip, there is less trampling and damage to the rest of the pasture. So livestock focus on the limited available strip, of course, whereby they eat this forage until they are satisfied before the farmer moves them to the next strip. So through that, there is less damage. They are not trampling on anything. They are trampling on that specific land. They won't go to other lands to trample on them and to eat on them the way they like. You see, there are other animals that are very like wanaringa sana. You find that you give the animal this type of you take the animals to this type of land, but they don't want this land. They just go to the land where they feel like they want, or they eat this plant, they leave the other and they go to the other. They are that kind of animals. And damage to the rest of the pasture will be very limited, because the animals are bounded in one strip. They can't move. There is electric fences, so it is very difficult for them to move from one strip to another, hence causing destruction. And then there is controlled intake. Can be used to control the dietary intake of livestock, especially useful when grazing rich forages that might otherwise lead to overconsumption. So it also calls controlled intake. This is where you control the amount of animals that you are. You control the amount of grass or forage that your animals are consuming. So if you feel that the animals are overeating, then you will be able to notice it. You will be able to know. But you know, some animals suffer from bloating. That is as a result of overeating. I can give a scenario. In my place where I come from, Samburu, I used to look after livestock most of the time, and I used to look after cows, goats, and there was a time I went to the field, and we had been affected by drought for a long period of time, for like 8 months, 6 months, or 8 months. I don't know, I don't remember, but it was a long period of drought, and we had to move from one place to another to look for water and pasture. So when I was in the field, and I felt that my animals were not eating well, my goats were not feeding well, and they started showing off the ribs. You can see the ribs, and I was really pissed off. I was really praying for God to send rain, because I had really loved looking after these kind of animals. But the moment I saw their suffering, I felt it. As pastors, we feel the pain of our fellow farmers, so of our fellow livestock keepers. So when it rained, I took the animals with. I was so excited, because when the rain came, I was very excited, because I knew my animals are going to really get satisfied this time. So I took them to the field, and they ensured that they have eaten and eaten and eaten to their field. I even came home late, and my parents were like, "Where are the animals? Their stomachs are very huge today. What did you feed to the animals?" And I was saying, and I told her that I went to the field today, and I found someone that has a lot of grass. So I ensured that the animals are eating everything in that piece of land. And my dad was really furious. He was really mad at me, because I overfed the animal, and the animals started dying one by one, and they had bloating in their stomachs, because they had overeaten on the green plants. So that is when I learned that it is not healthy to ensure that your cows are like wameshiba sana. It is not very healthy, because it can cause the animal to die. So I learned that, and as farmers, make sure that your animals are not overeating, because they can die. They can really die. So control the intake, the amount of pasture or grass you are feeding on your animals, to prevent the animals from dying or from getting sick. So both cell and strip grazing techniques require careful planning. Make sure that you plan carefully before you practice this strip or cell planning. And also it requires frequent monitoring. Go to the field once in a while. Ensure that you are looking out for the animals. What are they doing in the field? Are they still feeding on the green plants? Are the forage still there? Is the pasture still growing, or the animals have depleted it? And then ensure that the pastures are neither overgrazed nor underutilized. Because the moment you see that you take your animals out of the field without looking at the field itself, then you have a problem somewhere. Because you must monitor, you must observe what is happening in the field. If the animals are undergrazing, maybe they have a problem. Look at your animals. Are they feeding well? What are their feeding habits? If they are undergrazing, then there is a problem somewhere. Identify that problem and know how to do. And if they are overgrazing, then you should act very fast to stop the destruction from happening further. So when most of the time, when you find that the animals are undergrazing, maybe they are full. So take them out of the field and return them to the next time. But again, don't take the animals to another field after you realize that they had undergrazed in this kind of field, because the moment the remaining plants, let's say the grass, the moment the animal fed on this grass and they were not able to finish all of the forage, then the plants will be able to overgrow and lose even nutrients. You see, so it is also good that you ensure that you are monitoring your animals properly. Well managed, when properly managed, these techniques can lead to improved pasture health, increased forage yields, and better overall livestock performance. If you are able to practice all this stuff, You ensure that you are monitoring your farm. You ensure that there is no overgrazing, there is no undergrazing. Your animals are not overstepping to the rest of the garden, and you ensure that there is no destruction happening or the trampling. Then well and good, you will be able to have a very good harvest and be able to ensure that your livestock are good, they are healthy, there is high production of milk and meat. So let's go to manage grazing and rest periods. Managed grazing and rest periods are an essential component of sustainable pasture management, and also the importance of rest periods. So by giving pastures time to recover post-grazing, the grass can regenerate, soil health can be maintained, and overall ecosystem remains balanced, just like I said earlier. So how do we implement rest periods for pasture to recover? How? I know a lot of you outside there are still asking how are we going to do this. So before I tell you how, let me tell you the importance of this. Resting a pasture after it has been grazed allows grasses to regrow roots. And again, store energy and produces seeds. It also reduces the risk of soil erosion by not overgrazing your animals. And then it encourages beneficial insect populations and aids in cycling of nutrients. Of course, if there is presence of animals in that particular field for a limited time, then there is a high chance that the living organisms in that soil will still be there. And again, we have the visual indicators. Before allowing livestock back onto a pasture, ensure that grass has reached a sufficient height. Don't just feed them on the young grass, the ones that are still growing, the ones that are penetrating above the ground. If you feed them to this kind of plants, then what will remain in your field? Nothing. They will deplete everything because the grass are still young. It will be very sweet. It will be very hard for them to stop feeding on this grass, hence causing overgrazing. So ensure that the grass have grown in a height that is very suitable for you to feed onto your animals. And then there is adequate ground cover to prevent soil erosion. By these, the ground will be covered in a way that there won't be soil erosion happening. And desirable forage species are dominant, not weeds. So you ensure that you have selected a type of forage that can be dominant, type of forage that can control the growth of weeds. How do you calculate appropriate grazing and rest periods based on forage growth rates? Now we go back to how we calculate the rest periods based on forage growth rates. One of them is growth curve understanding. You must understand the growth curve. Just like I said earlier, how do they grow? How do these plants grow? So forage growth isn't consistent throughout the year. Like it is not that this year it is going to grow, another year is going to grow. There is a specific year that forage grows. So it often follows a curve with a rapid growth phase, usually in spring, and followed by slower growth in summer, and then another potential growth spurt in the fall. So recognizing this curve is very crucial in determining both grazing and resting periods. So after you see that maybe it is in spring, and you see that in spring you have identified that in spring this forage grows very rapidly, and again it is slower in summer. So you recognized the growing curve. So in spring you tend to plant the 4 paddocks, so that by the time it reaches summer, your animals have depleted the 4 paddocks and the other paddocks are started growing, like the 3 paddocks, and they have already started growing. By the time it goes to the first paddock, then it has been the other plants have grown because it is again summer. So there is regular monitoring. It's essential to monitor the health regularly, just like I said earlier. And then you measure grass weights, check for signs of overgrazing, and monitor the overall health of the pasture. Another importance is make sure that you measure the grass weight, because you might be feeding your animals something that is not healthy, something that doesn't have any nutrients. So you make sure that you are measuring them. And then grazing periods. Ideally, livestock should be moved to a new paddock or section before the grass is grazed down too much. Just like I said, leaving about 3 to 4 inches of growth in a general recommendation for many grass species through specific heights those specific heights can vary based on the type of grass and livestock. So ensure that you master the grazing periods, so that when it comes to a point where you will need to move your animals, you won't struggle so much remembering when was the last time you moved your animals to this particular land. Ensure that your grass have grown in a height that is very suitable for your animals to feed on, in a height that it will be very easier for them to regrow. And then rest periods. The ideal rest period varies depending on the growth rate of the forage. And during periods of rapid growth, the rest period may be shorter, maybe 20 to 30 days. And during slower growth periods, especially in hotter and drier months, rest periods may need to be extended to be 40 or more. So you also consider the periods. So if you find that rapid growth, the rest period may be shorter, so maybe 20 to 30 days. So you find that why do we say that when the rapid is higher, then the rest period is shorter, and when the growth is lower, the rest period is higher? Why do we say that? I know a lot of you are confused right now, because during the rest periods, during the rapid growth, the plants are growing very fast. So if you allow your animals to eat on everything, then your grass will be depleted. It will take a long time to grow. So the purpose of this is to ensure that your animals are eating very fast from this field and then move to the next, because they are getting healthier grass, the grass that are still green, that have nutrients. So when they feed in paddock A and then move to paddock B and then move to paddock C and D, by the time they are back to paddock A is again grown. So you take a shorter period of time to ensure that your animals are feeding on the most fresh and healthy forage. So that is why they have to feed them, to rest on a short period of time before going back again, because they are growing very fast, so the animals are able to catch up with it. But when the season is when the season is slower, like when the grass are growing slower in that particular season, then you'll have to ensure that your animals are not resting longer. Like the rest periods may not be extended to 40 days or more, so you can't extend the resting days further. And then there is use of tools. There are tools and software available that can help farmers calculate grazing and rest periods based on specific variables like livestock type, pasture size, and forage size. So there are different types of tools. You can go online and look out for them, search for this kind of tools, or research, go to social media, look for farmers, how they calculate the forage size. Through that, you'll be able to know these kind of tools. And then flexibility. While calculations provide a certain point, it is essential to remain flexible and adjust based on actual pasture conditions. Regular observation and repetition are key. So it's also flexible because during the starting point, you'll be able to identify the growing period, you'll be able to identify the tools you would like to use. So ultimately, balancing grazing and rest periods based on forage growth rates is more as an art than an exact science. It requires a deep understanding of the land, the forage species present, and the specific needs of the livestock. So it is very essential that you are learning everything about the forage, how they are growing, their adaptations, everything. So that by the time you try practicing this, then you won't have a lot of problems. So grazing and forage quality. The interaction between grazing and forage quality is crucial. It directly impacts livestock health and productivity. Proper grazing management can maintain or even enhance forage quality, ensuring that livestock receive necessary nutrients. So it is very important for you to ensure that your livestock are receiving nutrients in a way that is sustainable, in a way that it is growing your animals in a positive way. So let's go to impact of grazing on forage quality and nutritional value. But before I delve deeper into this, make sure you're still watching us on our social media accounts at Farmers Media on Facebook, at Farmers Media on YouTube, and make sure you click on our website at www.farmersmedia.com. Again, this is a Farmers Media where we connect, learn, and grow. Continue sending in your questions, continue sending in your comments, because this is where we grow, this is where we educate you, this is where we want you to learn, we want you to delve deeper into farming practices so that we can save this world from hunger. So let's go to impact of grazing on forage quality and nutritional value. So let's go to forage maturation. As forage matures, its fiber content increases and its crude protein content decreases. So over-mature grass might be less digestible and lower in energy and protein. Of course, they have already utilized everything present in the soil. So if the forage matures like a lot, it is big. You can see it even when, let's give an example of what can I give as an example? Let's say maize. When you plant maize, there is a maize that is when it becomes mature enough to become even bigger, it becomes hard. But the smaller the maize, the softer the maize and the sweeter the maize. So that is how it is. So you make sure that the grass are not over mature, because the moment the grass are maturing, like they are over mature, then it will be very difficult for animals to consume grass. It will be very difficult for them to during digestion process, and you find that your animals are bloating, your animals have difficulties during excretion process. This is as a result of feeding them with overgrazed grass, because they are very hard to chew first of all, so the animals can end up swallowing the grass without even chewing them due to its hardness. And also it is lower in energy and protein. The animals are very mature. They have depleted everything in that particular soil. They have depleted the energy, the protein, the nutrients, everything. So it will be very difficult for the animal. It will be very difficult for the animal to consume such kind of things, because first of all, they are not even good for their health. They are unhealthy because they don't contain any nutrients. And as a farmer, your purpose of keeping your animals is to ensure that you are getting a good produce, to ensure that your meat is a sustainable meat, your milk is produced in good quantities, and also to ensure that you have profit. But if you feed them on over mature grass, then what will they expect? Of course, you will produce low quality yields. First of all, that is your animals' meat will be of low quality. The milk will be of low quality. So, but if you feed them with grass that has nutrients, the ones that are not over mature, then there is high chances that you are going to get 100% produce. And then selective grazing. Livestock often prefer tender, younger plants. Just like I said earlier, there are other animals that are very stubborn. They will never feed on grass that is taller or over mature. They prefer young, tender plants. And they also prefer younger plants, which are usually higher in nutrients. However, if allowed, they might overgraze these preferred plants, leading to dominance of less nutritious species or weeds. So, if you plant this kind of grass, the one that when the plants are very younger, and you try to feed on your animals on these, they will overgraze, because animals prefer younger plants and they love the green plants. They are very soft. It is very easy for them to digest. And animals don't use like teeth to uproot the plants. I've observed that. I know most of you didn't know that. Just thought that animals can bite like human beings. Maybe you have been given a banana and you bite. That is how you do. But no, animals don't do that. Animals approach using their tanks. You see, they roll their tanks and they approach. I have observed that, and I saw that they are using their tanks, yeah, to eat the plants, to eat the younger plants, the ones that are very soft. So through that, they are enjoying that. So they will do that, and they end up finishing everything in that farm. What happens then when that happens? Of course, they'll deplete everything in that farm, and that will result to the growth of weeds, the dominance of weeds, the dominance of species that are very that require less nutrients to grow. And again, there is regrowth after grazing the new grasses. After grazing the new regrowth from grasses tend to be large and nutrients rich. But if grazed too frequently without sufficient recovery time, the plants may become stressed, leading to reduced nutritional content. So plants are just like human beings, so as animals. Animals experience stress, plants experience stress. I think there is no living being that doesn't experience stress. So plants also experience stress because if they are disturbed, then they become stressed. Just like human beings, if you are being disturbed by someone, you will never have peace. It will lead to stress. You'll always be thinking about that person who is disturbing you and be like, oh, I don't know what to do. But that happens to plants also. So when you allow your plants to regrow, like you give them a chance to regrow, then they will grow very healthy. But the moment you are not giving them ample time to grow, they will have less nutritional value because they won't have that time to consume enough nutrients to enable their growth, to consume enough nutrients for them to be a good quality product. So it is very good to ensure that you are giving time to your plants for the regrowth after grazing your animals. Yeah, so let's go to balancing livestock needs with maintaining forage health. Let's go to rotational grazing. Implementing rotational grazing techniques ensures that livestock have access to high quality forage while also allowing pasture to recover. Today we have talked really about rotational grazing. I've said it a lot, and I hope that someone outside there will be interested in rotational grazing. So stay tuned. And so it prevents overgrazing of preferred plants, maintaining a diverse and nutritional forage base. Just like I said, rotational grazing is very nice because after you graze your plants in one paddock, you don't allow the animals to consume everything in that field. So you just allow them to eat a little bit and then you move them to the next paddock. So through this, the plants won't get any stress. Just like I said, let's give an example of A, B, C, and D of the paddocks. So by the time the plants are consuming paddock A and go to paddock B, paddock A is growing again. So by the time they come back to paddock A, it will take a lot of time. It will take a longer time for animals to go back to paddock A. And when that time arrives, the grass in that field have already grown enough. They have consumed nutrients well. They don't experience any stress. So as a result, the animals are able to get nutritional value from these plants. So we have optimal grazing height. Grazing at the right height is vital. For many grass species, living about 3 to 4 inches ensures that grass remains healthy and can regrow, just like I said. So you make sure that the grazing height is very optimal. And then we have supplemental feed. During periods when pasture quality may be lower, e.g. late winter, or let's say during droughts, it is supplemental feeding might be necessary to meet livestock nutritional needs. So when you have a quality pasture, you have harvested a quality pasture, it is good that if it is much, you preserve some for seasons such as during droughts. And you know that a lot of animals die during this period of time because they are not feeding on any plants that are nutritious for them. But if you allow your animals to have this kind of nutrition during drought, then you'll be able to preserve some of the nutritional pasture for them during these kind of periods. And then soil health. Healthy soil produces nutrient-rich forage. Regular soil tests can help in determining nutrient deficiencies. I still insist that make sure that you are testing your soil regularly. Check the soil pH regularly to test the alkalinity or the acidity of the soil. If the soil is more acidic, then you will know what to do. Go to an expert, ask them of what to do next. But if you are a farmer, of course you know these things. If the soil is very acidic, then you have ways of preventing the acidity from continuing. And if your soil is more alkaline, then you have to know what to do. So, regular soil tests can help in determining nutrient deficiencies. It will help you know that this soil that lacks nutrients, it needs this amount of nutrients. And again, if needed, organic or inorganic fertilizer can be applied to build a forage quality. So if you find that this soil is lacks like fertilizers, it lacks nutrients, then you'll be able to determine what amount of fertilizer you are going to apply there, or what type of fertilizers you are going to apply there. Is it chemical fertilizers? Is it organic fertilizers? Because there are other fertilizers that you can apply into your soil, and you find that they are making the soil barren. So, for example, chemical fertilizers, there are other type of chemical fertilizers that can make your soil barren. Considering the pH of your soil, maybe it was very acidic and you apply this kind of fertilizers, it reacts in a way that plants are no longer growing in your field completely. So you also have to be careful on the type of fertilizers you apply in your field. And then you have pasture species selection. Planting a mix of forage species ensures that even if some species are not at their peak nutritional value at a particular time, others will be. So different species can also cater to different nutritional needs of the livestock. So it is also good that you are going to select the pasture species in your field, different pasture species. If you include this type of pasture in this field and the other type of pasture, both of them are growing really well, then it will be very beneficial for you as a farmer, because there are other pastures that grow in this season, let's say in summer or winter. There are other pastures that are growing during sunny periods really well, and the other are growing very well in rainy period. So when you implement this kind of pasture, it will be very nice because during rainy season you'll have pasture to feed your animals. During sunny seasons you'll have pasture to feed your animals. So it is also good to select different species, variety of species, to ensure that you are on the safe side, your animals are on the safe side. Be it during sunny days, be it during rainy days, your animals will still have pasture. So it is also good to be safe than sorry. And then we have monitor livestock health. I'll say that earlier. Regularly checking the condition and health of livestock provide insights into whether the nutritions needs are being met, weight gain, milk production, coat condition, and general behavior can all be indicators of nutritional well-being. So if you see that your animals are peeling, like the coats of your animals are rough, when you do like this, the feather, I don't know, those things come out, not the feathers. I don't know what the wool, yeah, the wool comes out in a way that those small hairs in the animals' bodies come out. That's a sign of lack of nutrition. And a lot of you are still wondering, why do you sleep somewhere and you find that maybe the gods have, you are living in with animals in one place, and you find that the hairs from the animals' wool is all over the place. That shows that your animals are not eating well. They lack nutrition. They need that nutrition for them to continue with bodybuilding activities. But if you see that your animals' coats are peeling, then that is a sign of that you need to really improve on the type of feeds that you're feeding your animals. You need to add nutrition to the animals, to what the animals are consuming. So it is also good that you're monitoring your animals, and also the weight gain. Make sure that you know your animals. When you look at your animals, you will see that this animal has gained weight, this animal has not gained weight. There are other stuff that are used, tools that are used to measure the weight of animals, and through that you will know if these feeds are really working. And if they're not working, then there will be production of less milk. There will be production of milk that has, I don't know, there is that the milk that is turning color. Some animals are producing milk that are weird. Like you look at the milk, they are not white enough. So if you are producing nutrient rich forage, then it will be very easier for your animals to continue producing quality products. They'll gain weight, they'll produce quality milk, they produce a lot of milk because they are having enough nutrients. What will prevent them from producing this kind of milk? So it will be very easier for you as a farmer. And then balancing the dual goals of meeting livestock nutritional needs and maintaining forage health requires careful management. I'll repeat again, careful management. Make sure you are managing them in a way that nothing can harm your livestock. Be protective and also regular monitoring. So adjusting grazing practices based on changing conditions ensures both livestock health and pasture sustainability. So make sure that you are also adjusting the practices according to everything. Whether may it be weather changes, may it be climate changes, because you might be feeding them healthy foods, healthy stuff, but you are not considering the fact that they are living in an open place, a place that have an open roof. So during rainy seasons, your animals are being rained on, and due to that stress, they tend to lose a lot. They lose the ability to produce more milk, they lose weight due to stress, like they suffer cold. So it is also good to consider other practices apart from the forage practices. So let's go to pasture species selection and management. How do you select pasture? What makes you think that this type of pasture is nice for my livestock? So the choice of pasture species plays a very critical role in livestock health and productivity and pasture sustainability. So different livestock have specific dietary and nutritional needs. So it's essential to choose and manage pasture species that meet these requirements. You find that there are cows. Calves require they might require less nutrition compared. They might require more nutrition compared to the larger animals, because first of all the calves are still young, and compared to the cows. The cows are big, they are able to fend themselves, they have the strength to continue consuming nutrients. Calves still have weak immune system. You find that some calves require more nutritional value compared to even the cows themselves. So you find that you will also require, other animals might also require more nutritional value compared to others. So it's also good to identify. And then how choosing suitable pasture species for different livestock types. So let's go according to the livestock. Let's go to cattle. Cattle typically prefer grasses over legumes. Most of the time you see that cattle, even if you put them on a field where there is grass and there is legumes, they will go straight to grass because they love grass compared to legumes. So common grass species for cattle include tall, fescue, ryegrass, Bermuda grass. I've heard of Bermuda grass, and bluegrass legumes. Bluegrass, I haven't heard that. But if you know what are bluegrass, if you are still watching this live and you know what bluegrass is, please tell us in the comment section, because bluegrass, maybe you can send us a picture of what bluegrass is so that we can know what that is. If they are really blue or what, because I've never seen a bluegrass. So legumes like clover or alfalfa can also be introduced for nutritional balance. So after feeding your cows with grass, your cattle with grass, you can also introduce them to legumes or alfalfa to ensure that they are getting enough nutrients for their production activities. So let's go to sheep. They are known to graze a wider variety of plants. Of course, we all know that, including those that cattle might avoid. So sheep are like, how can I say? They are just like that. They eat anything compared to cows. So they might also consider the fact that the cows are not eating these kind of things and they eat them instead of the cows. So sheep can eat anything that even the cows might not eat. So this makes them useful for controlling weeds. There are other weeds that are growing in the field that the cows can't eat. So when you mix them with cows and take them to the field, the sheep can be able to consume this kind of weeds and get rid of them completely, leaving the cows with the grass. So ryegrass, fescue, and clovers are good choices, and sheep also benefit from forbs and legumes for a varied diet. So let's go to goats. Goats are browsers and tend to prefer shrubs, bushes, and broad-leaved plants. Yes, I've experienced that. I've seen that a lot. They really love eating shrubs and bushes. For example, when I take our goats to the field, I find that they love eating small acacia plants. Like, I was observing them in a way that I was so surprised, I was so mesmerized, because I saw the goats, even the smaller goats, they leave the grass and then go and feed on the small acacia plants, the ones that are still growing with the small needles. Acacia plants have white needles, but when they are young, they are producing, the needles are very green and soft. So you find that even the small goats, they leave the grass and go consume those small needles and leaves from the small acacia plant. So they always prefer shrubs, bushes, and broad-leaved plants. It is like they don't want to struggle with small grass. The cows are those type of animals that are very slinkonviaje, like wanaringa. So while they graze on grasses, they can also help control bush and weeds in pasture. So you find that when a farmer is having bushes in his field, you can introduce goats there, because goats love such kind of things. They can consume all that bushes, helping you even to minimize the cost of clearing those bushes, because first of all, you will have to employ people to clear those bushes for you. Those bushes might be dangerous for you as a farmer, because they might contain animals that are very dangerous. Maybe the snakes are there. So the goats, when they clear that bush for you, then it will be very easier for you as a farmer to even continue with your farming practices, because the goats have done that work for you. They have consumed the weeds, they have consumed the bushes in that pasture. So it will be very easy and also cost effective. So another one is horses. It require high quality forage. Horses require high quality forage. I think that is why horses are very expensive even to hire when you want to climb onto them. So grasses such as Timothy, Kentucky, bluegrass, and Bermuda grass are popular choices. So those kind of grasses, that is what horses mostly prefer. And then it is important to monitor horse pastures for toxic plants, as some common weeds can be harmful to them. So horses are also another type of delicate animals. That's why they are being kept in different places, and it's very hard for someone to tell me that for someone to keep horses, because horses are very delicate. You might mix their pasture with the weeds, and they end up mixing, like eating both of them, even including the weed and pasture in the same chain of their food. So when they eat all of them, they might get poison and they might end up dying. So it is good that you are monitoring everything that your horses are consuming. And then let's go to poultry. If free ranging, poultry will consume grasses, but also benefit from legumes and forbs. They will also actively hunt insects, which can help control pests in the pasture. If you keep your hens in one place, maybe you take them to the field where they are growing. Don't take them to the field where they are growing spinach, because they finish all your spinach in that farm. And again, if you take them to the field where there is plenty of maize, they will consume your maize. So let's say you are taking them to the field where you have grown beans. You take them there, you've realized that there are many pests, caterpillars that are in your field, and you take your chicken and put them there. Of course, they will consume all the insects there, and that will help you prevent pest and diseases attack, because the chicken are still feeding on those kind of pests. So when they feed on them, then it will be very cost effective for you, because first of all, you won't have to buy pesticides. You will conserve the environment. There won't be pollution from herbicides or pesticides. Your plants will grow healthy and have high quality, because the method you use to control your pests and diseases was natural. You didn't apply any chemicals. So through that, you'll be on the safe side. And again, before we go to establishing and maintaining diverse and resilient pasture, guys, continue watching us. We are still live on Facebook at Farmers Media, on YouTube at Farmers Media, and make sure you click on our website at www.farmersmedia.com. Again, this is a Farmers Media where we connect, learn, and grow. Continue sending in your comments, continue asking questions, continue requesting for experts of different kind of fields. Maybe you would like to be educated about certain types of soil, you want to be educated about certain type of animals and how to take care of them, and also some adaptation. That will be a very nice topic, and make sure that you are sending in your requests. Let's go to establishing and maintaining diverse and resilient pasture. And one of them is mixed planting. That is introducing a mix of grasses, legumes, and forbs can ensure a balanced diet for your livestock. So when you introduce a mix of grass, legumes, and forbs, it can ensure a balanced diet for your animals, because animals also require a balanced diet. They are just like human beings. If you feed your baby, you feed them milk every day. Milk, like during lunch you give them milk, supper you give them milk, like every time you give your baby milk without giving any other type of food, of course the baby might die. It can suffer from kwashiorkor, anemia, or any other type of disease, just because you are feeding them food that is not balanced. So that applies to animals. So you ensure that you have mixed different kind of plants in your field, be it legumes, be it grasses, be it forbs, so that when your animals consume, they are able to mix this, and through that they are having a balanced diet, and they won't suffer any other diseases that are resulting from lack of balanced diet. So another one is soil testing. Before establishing a pasture, conduct a soil test to determine its pH. So test your soil. Know the pH of your soil, just like I said earlier, so that you'll be able to know, does my soil require to be put in a way that it is not acidic or it's not basic. So also test the nutrient levels and texture of your soil. So this helps in choosing species that are well suited for the soil type and determining any needed soil amendments. So soil testing is also another crucial step towards improving your livestock feeds. And then we have rotation and rest. Implementing a rotational grazing system can prevent overgrazing of specific species. We've talked a lot about rotational grazing today. So giving the pasture a balanced composition. So you also ensure that there is rotational grazing, as I said so many other times, to ensure that there is a balanced composition. And then there is weed control. Regularly monitor invasive or toxic weeds. So look for the toxic weeds that can affect your animals. Remove all of them from your field to ensure that your animals are not affected by these weeds. And then physical removal, moving, or targeted grazing can be used to manage them. So you can handpick them. There are other type of weeds that you can handpick them, especially if they are not many. Then you can go around the field and then pick them, throw them far away from your field. And then in some cases herbicide may be necessary. So if you see that the weeds are spread very, very much, that it will be very possible for you to remove each and every weed, because you might end up leaving others trying to remove each and every weed. So it will be good for you to be careful on how you are removing the weeds. You have to check out that the weeds are not growing in your farm at all. So if you see that they are still spreading, then you might use herbicides. And then there is overseeding. This involves planting seeds over existing grass to fill in bare spots and introduce new or different species, because this can help maintain a deep, healthy soil and introduce diversity. So it's also good to overseed. And then you have pest and disease management. Diverse pastures tend to have fewer problems with pests and disease. If issues arise, identify the cause and consider targeted treatments. So make sure that you are managing pests and diseases in your farm very nicely to ensure that you are not also getting rid of beneficial insects, or you are not changing the grazing patterns suddenly, because the animals will also be confused of what is really happening. So to ensure that you are keeping the beneficial insects and also get rid of those insects that are not beneficial, to avoid your plants from being affected. So we have regular monitoring. Regularly walk through the pastures, checking of signs of soil erosions, bare patches, or declining plant health. So timely intervention can prevent bigger problems later on by carefully selecting pastures that match livestock needs and focusing on diversity. Farmers can establish and maintain resilient pastures that are productive, healthy, and sustainable for long term. So it is very good for you to control these kind of pests and diseases. Guys, we're taking a short break, and we will be back to continue with the grazing management tools and technologies. The topic is still wide, but in the next segment I'll just go through some of the topics, and then we will have a part 2, because we still have much more on livestock grazing. On Monday we will have a part 2, but let's take a short break.
To have healthy cows that produce well, you need to feed them with enough energy from fodder crops, proteins from supplements like dairy meal and legging plants such as caliandra, along with minerals, vitamins, and water. For a healthy cow weighing 380 kilograms, it will need to eat 1 bale of hay a day, which is the same as 20 kilograms of fresh fodder. If you are growing your own fodder, you'll need about 1 acre per year to feed 1 cow, 1 heifer, and a calf. Good fodder grasses include disease-resistant Napier grass, bracharia, and panicum grasses. If you don't have enough land to feed your cows, then you'll need to buy extra fodder from other places. Remember to always have clean water available to your cows. If you want your cows to produce plenty of good milk, make sure they are always well fed.
Welcome back, viewers. Welcome, and I'm glad you're still watching us, because we're still live on Facebook at Farmers Media, on YouTube at Farmers Media. This is Farmers Media, where we connect, learn, and grow. So we were talking about livestock grazing, and we are still continuing on the technologies, grazing management tools and technologies of grazing management tools and technologies. We know that over time, tools and technologies, the tools that are used in agriculture have improved over time. There has been introduction of different tools in managing agriculture, and one of them is electric fences. Use of electric fences provides flexible and cost-effective way to divide pastures into different paddocks for rotational grazing. That, just like I said about the strip grazing, whereby the farm is divided into strips using electrical farms. This allows the farmer to extend the strips from to be even wider. So the use of electric fences, because it is very useful, especially during the division of the parts of the field. And also it can be adjusted. That is another benefit. You can adjust it whenever you want because it's electric, and also the animals are able to avoid this kind of fences. So one benefit is quick to install and can be relocated as needed. That is another benefit. If you want to relocate it, then it will be very easier for you to relocate. And then it provides a psychological barrier for livestock, reducing the risk of breakout. So your animals won't have to break out. A lot of farmers have lost animals due to reckless fencing. They are just fencing them using sticks. And sometimes when animals are fighting, they can break those sticks and they tend to break out and go away. You tend to have a hard time looking for your animals everywhere and not finding them. So these electric fences provide the animals to prevent the animals from breaking out. And then it provides a psychological barrier for livestock, and also because the livestock, they have that psychology, like they know that when they go near this fence something might happen, because the moment they go near the electric fence they will get affected, so they will try to avoid that fence. And then can be solar powered, making it suitable for remote areas. So in areas where it is very difficult to get electricity, for example the rural areas, it will be very easy for someone to use solar, because when it's affected, when there is a lot of sunlight, then they can use solar for them to fence their cows. And then the other one is water system. Water system, providing consistent and easy access to water is essential in rotational grazing. Portable water troughs, piped water system, or even strategically located permanent troughs can be used. So just like I said earlier, animals require water. They need water for digestion. They need to drink water for them to survive. So during this, the water system enable the animals to get enough water. By the use of pipes, you can transfer them from one paddock to another, so the animals are getting enough water. You can also use troughs. You take the trough after this paddock is you're finished with this paddock, you can carry the trough to the next paddock, so it will also be easier. So let's go to the benefits. It ensures that livestock have access to clean water in each paddock. They won't have to drink water each and every time, the same water every time. The water that they consumed in the first paddock will not be the same water they will consume in the second paddock, because the water in the first paddock, they have already dated that water. It has stayed there for a while. So when they go to the next paddock, they have fresh water. So through that, they won't have to get dirty water. And then it reduces congregation at a single water point, minimizing the risk of land degradation around it. So you will have to put troughs in different points of your farm. There will be troughs in each and every point, whereby animals are going to in turns to drink water. If you put a trough in one place, then all the animals will go to that one place and drink water there. And what is the result of that? Soil degradation. And through that, you will experience soil erosion, because the soil has been stepped by the animals. It will be very difficult for you to start again with practices to ensure that your soil doesn't get affected by soil erosion. And then it enhances even grazing across the pasture, as animals don't have to travel far for water. That is understandable. So another one, let's go to technologies now. There is GPS tracking and monitoring of livestock movement. So GPS tracking devices can be attached to livestock. You've heard that. So usually in the form of collars or ear tags. I hope you are seeing that. I've seen that in parks, and they have you can see that they have something around their necks. So to monitor their movement and location in real time. Just like I said in the previous show, that for those who did not hear, in our place, they don't use GPS, yes, because most of the people there don't afford those kind of things, and they own hundred of livestock. So it will be difficult for them to buy a GPS for each and every cow, for them to know where they are located, or for them to identify their location. So people in our area practice natural activities, natural technology, the one that has been practiced over and over again. That's not a technology, yes, but they use the bells. They tie the bells around the necks of the animals so that they'll be able to identify where the animal is. Even if the animals are far, they will hear the bell and know that this type of animals is here, and also so are the rest of the animals. So they have used the bells to tie around the necks of their animals. The benefits of GPS is provide insights into grazing patterns, helping identify overgraze on underutilized areas. So the GPS and like the bells have an ability to know that these animals are undergrazed, these animals are overgrazed. So through the GPS, you're able to track the health of your animals, their behavior, their feeding habits, and then it assists in locating livestock, vast or rugged pastures. So they will know the rugged pastures are where the animals are feeding, and then it can be used to set virtual boundaries where an alert is sent if an animal strays beyond a defined area. So through the GPS, they'll have an alarm. They'll have to know that these animals has strayed. It has gone beyond this limit. It has gone to another person's farm to destroy it. So they will know, and through that they'll come immediately and rescue the animal from trouble, or rescue the animal from being taken by that farmer, the one whose farm has been destroyed by that particular animal. So the GPS tracking is a nice one. But let's go to monitoring system. Use along with GPS, other sensors can monitor livestock health indicators such as temperature, heart rate, or activity levels. This data can be transmitted to a centralized system or mobile app. So monitoring systems can be used to track the health of the animals, the temperature. If the animal is sick, then it will be able to show that this animal is sick and needs attention. So benefits is early detection of health issues or stress in livestock. It is very difficult to know if the animal is suffering from something, if the animal is sick, until it shows signs, like a lot of signs. That is when you realize that this animal is sick, because it is very impossible for you to look at the animal like this and say that this animal is sick. Animals are not, they can't show signs very early. They can be sick, but by the time you identify that this animal is sick, it will be after showing a series of signs. But through the monitoring systems, they'll be able to tell you that immediately the animal starts getting sick in any way without even showing signs. So another one is data-driven decision can be made about rotation schedules, supplemental feeding, or medical intervention, and also it helps in optimizing productivity and animal welfare. So there have also been other advances in grazing management tools and technologies, and one of them is drones. So we'll talk about drones a lot, and every time we come to the show, there is always something about drone. They have become really popular, and we encourage farmers outside there. If you are able to buy a drone, if you are able to get licensed for a drone, then it will be very easier for you, especially if you are a large-scale farmer. It will be very easier for you to monitor your crops. So drones equipped with cameras and sensors can be flown over pastures to monitor livestock, check water points, and assess pasture health. So with drone, everything will be easier, because first of all, it provides high bird's view. You'll be able to see everything, making it easier to spot issues like damaged fences, water leaks, or congregating livestock. So by flying the drone above your animals, you are able to observe everything at your comfort. You're just somewhere standing, maybe standing or sitting. and then flying the drone depends with the experts. There are other people who can even lie down and control drone when they are lying down, because they have already they are used to these kind of things. So drones are very nice because you can be able to identify the destroy fences, the health of your animals, their husbandry, everything. And then it can capture data for vegetation analysis, helping identify areas of overgrazing or weed infestation. You can also set your drone in a way that it can identify the weed infestations or where there is pests and diseases by implementing some sensors into your drone. So if it identifies the sensors, you will see that a red light, or maybe a sign that this is the place where it has been infested by weeds. So with that information, you'll be able to get rid of the weeds. And then it reduces the time and labor required for manual checks, especially in large or rugged pastures. So it also reduces the labor required for manual checks. You won't go there physically, like from one plant to another, to check if it is affected. At least you'll be able to stand in one point of the field and then look out for your plant. Look at the plant in a way that you are able to identify this area of the field is affected, is not affected. So it will also reduce your time, because you won't waste a lot of time in that field. You might be owning a large field of a large piece of land. So with drone, you won't waste time going around the farm. You'll just have to stand somewhere and then look at the field. So another one is it reduces the time and labor. I've said that. And then let's go to automated weather station. So placing weather stations in or near pastures to collect data on rainfall, temperature, humidity, and other climatic variables. I haven't seen that in Kenya, but maybe there are other people who are practicing that. The large-scale farmers, maybe they are able to use these automated weather stations. But I've seen in movies whereby they are putting a weather station near where the farm is, and they are able to detect if it rains immediately. Then they've already had a safety net towards their plants or livestock. One of the benefits is provide insights into potential pasture growth based on recent and forecasted weather conditions. At least they will be able to know that during this time it will be raining, and my pasture will have to require this and this. So another one, it helps in making informed decision about when to move livestock, irrigate, or apply fertilizers. When it rains, they already know that it will rain, so they will have time. They've already informed other people to make these kind of decisions. Maybe they say that in few hours it will rain, so make sure that you are covering your livestock, you are putting them in a place where they won't be rained on. Make sure that you have covered the irrigation system to prevent them from hails or something like that. So it will also be easier for farmers when they use automated weather stations near the farms. So they have mobile applications. They use various mobile apps. Various mobile apps are available now for farmers to help farmers manage their grazing systems, integrating data from GPS trackers, weather stations, and other sources. Of course, smartphones are here, like they are even smarter than we thought, because there are different types of mobile phones that have been introduced, and where you can use it with your GPS to locate everything and also to obtain information. And then there is benefits. It allows farmers to access data and make decisions to go on their go. And then it provides alerts for various scenarios like potential disease outbreaks, fence breaches, or adverse weather conditions. And then we have remote sensing. They use satellite imagery or aerial photos to monitor pasture health, biomass availability, and land cover changes. So the benefit of remote sensing machines is provides a comprehensive view of pasture conditions across large areas. And another one is helps in long-term planning by tracking changes in vegetation cover, water availability, and land use over time. So by ensuring that you have tracked all these, then you will have the necessary you will have to implement the necessary things to ensure that your plants are not suffering anymore. So guys, I bet you have learned a lot from this session about livestock grazing. It's been an amazing time with you, and I'm really grateful that you took your time and came here to watch this live. Thank you guys, thank you so much. And again, this is still a Farmers Media, where you connect, learn and grow. Make sure that you are still following us on our social media, and on Facebook we are Farmers Media. Make sure you are following us. On YouTube we are Farmers Media. Make sure you are subscribing, and make sure you click on our website at www.farmers.com. And first of all, I'd like to thank our director Dottie for directing this show, our producer Mary for producing this show. It was an amazing time. Thank you so much, director and director Dottie and Mary, our producer. Make sure guys are still continuing watching this live, because we will have the next show, Farm Drive, with Boss Queen and Duncan. Make sure you tune in and watch their show, because they are going to tell you a lot. They are going to educate you and tell you even much better. So we'll have our Farm Drive. And before we finish, of course, we are always wise people, and before we finish, we have to tell you the proverb of the day. So the proverb of the day is: agriculture is a fundamental source of national prosperity. Agriculture is a fundamental source of national prosperity. Yeah, these are hard. So make sure that you are still continuing tuning in. Thank you so much. I had a great time with you guys. Have a lovely day. I've been your host, Regina. I.